Hi friends, myself Sachin Ugli, and today we are going to talk about the quantitative aspects of electrolysis. That means the mass of reactant consumed or the mass of product formed at an electrode during the electrolysis can be calculated by knowing the stoichiometry of the half reaction at the electrode. That means it is related how much electricity is passed and how much product is formed or deposited to the concerned electrode. It is related to that things. So there are main four steps in that. The first one is calculations of quantity of electricity passed. Okay, so Q is equal to I into T. So Q is a current and I is a amount of electricity passed. So to calculate the quantity of electricity passes during electrolysis, the amount of current I, so I is a current passed through the cell is measured. The time for which the current is passed, so they are given their units in the brackets. So Q is equal to I into T. The next slide, calculations of moles of electrons passed. Total charge passed is Q. The charge of 1 mole electron is 96,500, that is according to Faraday, 96,500 coulombs. If it is referred to as an Faraday, hence moles of electron actually passed is equal to Q upon 96,500. Then the step number 3, calculations of moles of product form. So to calculate the moles of product form, we will consider one example, that is Cu2 plus 2 electrons, that gives a neutral copper atom. So 2 moles of electrons are required. They are shown here. 2 moles of electrons are required for the production of 1 mole of copper atom, because its valency is 2. It is shown here 2 plus. So to form a 1 copper atom we require 2 electrons. That's why. So we can calculate the moles of product form. The moles of electrons actually passed is given by the equation 5.16. So mole ratio is equal to mole of product form in the half reaction divided by moles of electrons required in the half reaction. For this concerned case, there is a copper, so it is mole ratio is equal to 1 divided by 2. So moles of product form is equal to moles of electrons actually passed into mole ratio. So mole ratio, this is 1 divided by 2. So we have to substitute this value of 1 divided by 2 here. So Q divided by 96,500, that is from step 1, into mole ratio, that is 1/2. Next one, that is the fourth step, calculations of mass of product. To calculate the mass of product, moles of product into molar mass of the product. So substitute these values, that is I into T divided by 96,500 into mole ratio and molar mass of the product. So this is the final one, mass of the product form. But to calculate the mass of product form, we require these 4 steps. That is the final step, that is the mass of product form. For that we require the mole ratio, which is calculated from step number 3. Here it is mole ratio. To find out the mole ratio, we require these values of moles of electron actually pass, which is calculated from step number 2. That is calculated of moles of electron actually passed. And to find out the second step, we require the help of the first step. That's why we have to follow all these 4 steps to calculate the moles of product form. And the next one, galvanic or voltaic cell. As shown in the diagram, zinc rod is dipped in the zinc sulfate solution. This is the zinc sulfate solution, and this is the zinc rod. Now what is meant by galvanic or the voltaic cell? When a rod is dipped in its own ionic solution, then that is called as galvanic cell or the voltaic cell. So in this case, zinc rod is dipped in the zinc sulfate solution and hydrogen gas, here it is an example of hydrogen gas electrode. So hydrogen electrode dipped in its ionic solution, that is H plus ion solution. So the galvanic or voltaic cell means when an electrode is dipped in its own ionic solution, then that is called as galvanic or the voltaic cell. So this is the half cell when zinc is dipped in zinc sulfate solution. This is the first cell, and the second half cell, that is H plus, that is hydrogen electrode is dipped in the hydrogen ion solution. This is the second half cell. When two half cells are combined, they form a complete cell. So they are connected by this inverted U-shaped tube. We call it as a salt bridge, and whatever current is generated, that is denoted by the voltmeter. So in this galvanic cell, chemical energy is converted into electrical energy. And in the previous lecture we discussed about electrolysis. In that, electrical energy is converted into chemical energy, but this is the example where chemical energy is converted into electrical energy. That means the generation of electricity by using chemicals. And this inverted U-shaped tube, that is salt bridge, completes its circuit. Then only the flow of current takes place. So this is known as galvanic cell, which generates the electricity. Now the next one, salt bridge. Now salt bridge means inverted U-shaped tube which contains the KCl solution plus 5% of agar gel. So this inverted tube or the salt bridge which is used in the galvanic cell to complete its circuit. It allows the flow of ions through it, as shown in the previous slide. It allows to flow of ions from one half cell to the other half cell to complete their electrical circuit, and then only the flow of electricity is possible when the circuit is closed. So the salt bridge is made up of, as I told you, the KCl solution plus 5% of agar gel solution, and glass wool plugs are kept here so that they just allow the electrical contacts only. Now the functions of salt bridge. The salt bridge serves as the following functions. It provides an electrical contact between two solutions and thereby complete the electrical circuits, the first one. Then the second one, it prevents the mixing of two solutions. As in the previous slide, these are the two solutions, that is zinc sulfate and this is the H plus ion solution. It allows only to pass the ions through it, but it prevents the mixing of two solutions. That means it prevents the mixing of zinc sulfate and this H plus ions solution. It just maintains the electrical neutrality. So this is the second most important thing, that is it prevents the mixing of two solutions. Then the third one, it maintains the electrical neutrality in both the solutions by the transfer of ions. That means it allows to transfer of ions from one half cells to the other half cells. Otherwise it may not form a electrical neutrality. So to maintain the electrical neutrality, it is necessary that one ions is passed from one compartment to the other compartment. So it maintains the electrical neutrality in both the solutions by the transfer of ions. Next to that, now formulation or the short notation of the galvanic cell. Just now we talk about the galvanic cell. This is one of the example of the representation of galvanic cell in the short form. So this is the short notation of the galvanic cell. Now this short notation gives all information about the galvanic cell. For example, in this case, magnesium acts as an electrode. Magnesium acts as an electrode. That means how to read or how to write the notation of the galvanic cell. So there are two ways. Either you have to go inside from the outer one, that is from magnesium towards this double line, or this Ag to this double line, or from these double lines to the left hand side as shown in this arrow, and from these double lines to the right hand side of the arrow as shown by the arrow. So there are these two half cells. We'll see one by one how to represent this. When electrode material is in contact with its ionic solution, that is shown or separated by a single vertical line. That means this single vertical line shows that this magnesium is dipped in this magnesium's ionic solution. Similarly, this Ag is dipped in Ag's ionic solution, and that is separated by this single vertical line. That single vertical line indicates that these are the electrode, and that is in the vicinity or dipped in its ionic solution. So this is the ionic solution of them, and these are the electrode. In some cases, for example, when we use the hydrogen as a gas, so in that case we use the platinum for the electrical contact. So we have to write down the platinum, then a single vertical line, then H hydrogen, and then H plus ionic solution. That means when we use in some cases platinum as an inert material for the electrical contact only, that we have to mention here also. Then these brackets, as shown here, there are some brackets, small brackets, and this is here is written S. S means it represents its physical state. That means this magnesium is solid. That's why here it is S. If we use a hydrogen, then in this bracket we write down G. G stands for gas, gaseous state. So we have to mention this physical state of the concerned ions or the metals or the electrodes. Okay. And the next one, this is the ionic solution, but it has a 1 molar concentration. That means ionic solution, it is represented by its ionic concentration also. In some cases we are using a different concentrations. So in this case, in this particular case, we are used 1 molar concentration. So we have to mention its concentration also. And in some representations, we arrange the galvanic cell in such a way that there is no need to use a salt bridge. So how we come to know that they are used a salt bridge or not? When we observe the double vertical line here, that stands for a salt bridge. That means they are used a salt bridge. If they are not used a salt bridge, then there will be only a single vertical line. That means this double vertical line indicates it is used to show the salt bridge only. So this is the notation of the galvanic cell. It's very simple one. This is the half cell, and this is the other remaining is the half cell. When these two half cells are combined, it forms a complete cell. Next to that, writing of the cell reaction. We'll consider the same example for the writing of the cell reaction. This is the one trick, that is LOAN. It is a very simple trick how to write the cell reactions. So L stands for left. That means here in this short notation we use the same example. Left, that means this left hand side. Left. O stands for oxidation. That means oxidation takes place on this magnesium electrode. A simple one. As we know that oxidation means loss of electron. That means Mg gives Mg2 plus 2 electrons. That is oxidation reaction. That is the loss of electron. Then A stands for anode. That means this Mg acts as a anode. Mg acts as a anode. That's why A. And N stands for negative. That means anode as a negative electrode. If we know the left hand side reaction and its notification, then opposite to that is the right hand side. That means right hand side electrons electrode is a cathode. It is cathode, then reduction reaction takes place on that and it is positive. So it is a very simple technique. So LOAN, it is a very nice trick. Left, L stand for left, oxidation, anode and negative. So we'll see the examples. Mg forms Mg2 plus, that means Mg, there is a single arrow that gives Mg2 plus 2 electrons. And similarly for this Ag plus 1 electron, and that will form Ag only. So these are the writing of the cell reaction. Next to that, electrode potential and the cell potential. At the surface of the separation of solid metals and the solution, there exists difference of electrical potential. That means when this electrode is dipped in its ionic solution, suppose this is the ionic solution of its electrode, that means we will consider one example, zinc is dipped in zinc sulfate. So this is the solid one, this is solid metal and its ionic solution. So it forms a potential difference at the border of this metal and the ionic solutions. Suppose this is the plus charges are there. In one case, if we consider in the solution there are plus charges, then automatically on the electrode material there are negative charges. That means electrons are there. Electrons are accumulated on this metal strip. And at the same time, if the electrode is negative, the positive charges are accommodated around this electrode material, so that there is a potential difference is developed, and we called it as a potential difference is established due to the electrode half reaction. Due to this half electrode reaction, a potential difference is established, and we call it as a electrode potential. Okay, in one case, so it is a electrode is negative in this case and the solution, ionic solution, is positive here. In the other half cell, this electrode is positive and it's in the vicinity, negative charges will accommodate. So there is the other one. So oxidation potential, when a potential is concerned with the oxidation reaction, then that is called as a oxidation potential. And similarly, when the potential is concerned with the reduction reaction, then that potential is known as reduction potential. So oxidation half potential and reduction half potential, and when we sum up them, then that forms a cell potential. As shown in the formula, cell potential is equal to E of oxidation, that means E of oxidation means oxidation potential plus E of reduction, that is cathode, that is reduction potential of cathode electrode. When they combine, they form a cell potential. It is very simple one. A cell potential is equal to E of oxidation potential plus E of reduction potential, that forms a E of cell potential. Next to that, standard potentials. Now these electrode potentials are affected by concentration of the electrolyte. This is the electrolyte or the ionic solution. So it is affected or changes with concern with concentration, then pressure as well as temperature. So we have to consider a standard conditions to calculate the standard potential. For example, when we measure the electrode potential as when the concentration is 1 molar, pressure is 1 atmosphere and temperature is 25 degrees Celsius. At these conditions, when we measure electrode potential, then that is called as standard electrode potential. Okay. Similarly, when we consider two half cells that forms a complete cell, and at that time also its concentration is 1 molar for both the cases, pressure is 1 atmosphere and temperature is 25 degrees Celsius, then that is called as standard cell potential. If we consider both the up reactions, that is reduction and oxidation, then both the potential, that is oxidation potential as standard condition, reduction potential at standard condition, then automatically we will get a cell potential at the standard condition, and these are their requirements. Its concentration should be 1 molar, pressure should be 1 atmosphere, and temperature should be 25 degree Celsius. One more thing is there, when we consider this as a zinc one, suppose we consider it as a zinc, and in particular case oxidation reaction takes place on the zinc. The most important thing, there will be no always oxidation will occur for the zinc. There is a one condition, it depends on the other half cell also. That means both the electrode material decides whether the oxidation reaction takes place on which electrode. That means in some cases zinc get oxidized, or the oxidation reaction takes place on the zinc, as well as in some cases reduction reaction takes place on the zinc. That means it depends on its other electrode material also. So that we require its standard values of E0. According to the IUPAC conventions, standard potential of electrode is taken as the standard reduction potential. So according to the IUPAC conventions, we have to consider a standard reduction potential only. So just now I told you, if any electrode shows certain oxidation potential, then its reduction potential also will be the same digits, only the sign convention will be changed. So this is very simple one. Now the next one is dependence of the cell potential on the concentration. Just now I told you cell potential depends on the concentration, pressure and the temperature, but this is the case in which we will find out dependence of the cell potential on the concentration, means how a cell potential is related with the concentration. We are going to discuss about this one, and this equation is known as Nernst equation. We are going to discuss this part in the next lecture. Thank you.